Today on the channel, we've got another DC Multiverse review. We're looking at Bizarro and Batzarro on The Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? The Way I Got It Figured, back with another DC Multiverse review. This time we're looking at Bizarro and Batzarro, DC Multiverse 2-pack. And this set was donated for review by my good buddy Lou. So I'm going to review these and talk about these two characters a little bit. So Bizarro and Batzarro, particularly this version of Bizarro, and then the only version that I'm aware of, Batzarro first appeared in one of my favorite DC comic series, Superman and Batman, by Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness. Jeff Loeb wrote issues 1 through 25, and Ed McGuinness drew 2 arcs of the book, like I think issue 1 through 6, and then like 19 through 25. Both of them were in the second arc. There's a great read. If you can ever find those comic books, I definitely think they're worth a read. They sort of reintroduced the idea of the multiverse at the time, and then we'll follow from that with stuff like Infinite Crisis and everything like that. Really good books. I enjoyed them then. I enjoy them now, and I have no issues reviewing figures, related to that. So as always, we're going to start with the packaging, get them out, maybe do a comparison, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. They are kind of comparing with each other, and get you out of here with some final thoughts. So starting with the packaging, got your normal DC Multiverse package. Of course, you can see all the contents in there. Got your age 12 and up on the package, which I've never really looked at to see if they all say that. But this doesn't look like a gold label. I know you have like the gold label McFarlane figures. I don't see a gold label on here. They just seem like regular McFarlane figures. So I don't know. Maybe he's just marketing all his stuff for ages 12 and up. Not sure. On the side, you got Bizarro and Batzarro. And then on the back, you got Ed McGuinness artwork. Bizarro and Batzarro. Straight from the covers of the book. These are cover images from those comic books. And yeah, there you go. So we're going to get these guys out and check them out. Alright, so we've got Bizarro and Batzarro out of the package with their accessories. They do come with a couple of extra things, and I'm not going to open fully because honestly, I want to get these back to Lou in some sort of intact condition. I'm going to just show you. They come with this backdrop, kind of a stand, I guess. And then they have collector's cards, and they're behind kind of a film, and I don't want to take them out, so those are in the package. But this is what you get with the figures. And I happen to know that both of these figures are redecos of the Dark Knight Returns Superman and Batman, respectively, on those same bodies. I do happen to know this because I owned both of those figures briefly, but I ended up selling them I've never opened them, but I sold them. And it does make sense that they would use those bodies to capture the artwork of Ed McGuinness. Even though, it's based off of Frank Miller's artwork, but he also drew those characters at that time in a very bulky style. So it makes sense. Maybe Batzarro looks a little weird with the wrinkles in his costume because he doesn't have any wrinkles in Ed McGuinness's artwork. But that aside, it's close enough for government work. You can put them with a Superman and Batman that are also with those bodies, or you could put them with maybe a slightly more slender Superman and Batman to accentuate the differences, so to speak. But that is what they're based on, and they do look good, even though I know where they come from. They do kind of hit the mark with that, so I got to give them credit where credit is due. Of course, you get your Bizarro #1 sort of nameplate, some extra gesturing hands, I guess we want to call them, and then Batzarro rather, comes with fists, and his hands are sort of like gripping hands, the ones that are on him. We're getting an up close personal look with Bizarro. Again, the body is definitely the Dark Knight Returns Superman. Backwards S for Bizarro. And of course, the head is based off of the Ed McGuinness artwork. I'm not sure if you can remove the heads of McFarlane figures. Somebody's going to have to tell me that in the comments, because I'm certainly not going to experiment on a figure that's not mine. But you can just, stick the Bizarro #1 on there. And as far as Superman's articulation, you can do kind of a T-pose with him, putting his arms out. You can flex to about there. Does have an ab crunch, but it is not very substantial. Swivels at the waist and the diaphragm, I guess. Kicks to about there. Unlike the earlier first appearance Batman that I have reviewed, Farland Toys, they have the trunks as a separate kind of plastic piece, which I do think is a pretty cool way to do that. Knee's been pretty far back. He can't kick himself in the butt, but close enough. And he does have, the ability to look up and down. So it's kind of decent action figure articulation. Um, I struggle to call these true action figures, but they are action figures, even though they're meant, definitely meant for display. They do have balance issues, getting them to stay up, particularly once you've manipulated them. It's kind of a balancing act to get them to stand. And as for Batzarro, same kind of deal. Upside down bat, obviously tooled at the same time as the Dark Knight Returns Batman. Got the gripping hand, the upside down empty pouches on the belt. And the articulation, I just don't want to go over it because it's going to be difficult. Got to be complete, I guess. Kicks out about there. I'm sorry, I don't want to go over it because it's difficult to get them to stand. So there was a lot of work getting them to stand. I don't want to undo my work. But, you can do a T-pose. As you can see, can look up pretty decently. Kind of look down. That thigh swivel. Same kind of knee bend as Superman or Bizarro. So there you go. Let's call it standard McFarlane articulation. And they do look decent. Again, I have some reasons why I don't buy McFarlane figures. Chief reason is that they don't scale with my 6-inch figures because they're 7-inch figures. But, it's not like I don't appreciate a good action figure regardless. So there you go. There's not a whole lot to tell. I guess we could switch out the hands and everything, but, I don't know what that's about. Switch some hands. And kind of what you get in the package. So I will do one comparison. I'll bring in good old Marvel Selects Captain America. And as you can see, even though he's around the same height, I don't know that I would say they're exactly in the same scale. It seemed like him and the first appearance Batman matched up fairly 1-to-1. These guys are shorter than him. So, again, they're 7-inch figures. And I did state in the Batman video that McFarlane's 7-inch scale figures are kind of all over the place. They don't necessarily always line up 1-to-1 with each other. And so this is kind of an example of that right here. Can you fudge it? Can you make it work? Yeah, I guess kind of. But I do think the Detective Comics 27 Batman is much more 1-to-1 with Marvel Selects Captain America than these guys are. These might be more akin to the size of a Masterverse figure or something like that. Unfortunately, I don't have any Masterverse figures handy with me right this moment, so I can't really do the comparison. But I'm thinking that's kind of what's going on there. And again, it's just how McFarlane does it. Not all the figures are scaled precisely 1-to-1. They're a little bit all over the place with it. So that said, I'm gonna get out of here, get on to some final thoughts. So let's do that. Final thoughts on McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Bizarro and Batzarro 2-pack. So these figures are not as, I'm probably underwhelmed more or less with these guys than I am with the Batman figure, the Detective Comics number 27 Batman. It seems to be a little bit better figure, maybe because he's newer than these guys. I did want the and I bought and I sold the figures that these guys are kind of based off of, the Dark Knight Returns versions. And if you're going to just stand them there and pose them somewhere, that's probably going to work for you. But as action figures, they leave something to be desired. You know, I'm not going to play around with them or kind of sit around and pose them out, because you can't stand them up. They're difficult to stand just based on how they make the uh, ankles and everything. And you know, and if you have a figure stand, I guess you can stand them on this figure stand, or you can use other McFarlane figure stands to make them stand up. But that's not really ideal. And I have, said in other videos that I feel like the one thing an action figure should always be able to get right is that it can stand on its own. And I'm not ragging on McFarlane for that. Their niche is what their niche is. There's a robust group of collectors that collect these things. I'm certainly not knocking on them. It's just not for me. Detective Comics number 27 Batman was a good figure, legit good figure, that I could see having on my shelf. All that said, are these guys terrible figures? No, they're not. They're not great figures. I'm probably giving it 8 for both Bizarro and Batzarro. They do capture the look of the characters from the books, mostly. I'm willing to give them both 8s. But I got to figure rank. And that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for all the new subscribers. We're still working our way up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. I'm going to keep doing reviews, top 10s, top 5s, different types of videos, and hopefully we'll get there. If you're watching this video and you're new to the channel, please join us. Subscribe. We got a lot more content coming. In the meantime, I'm going to sign off here. And I want to bid everybody stay safe. See you on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.